Hari Om, yogis. Um, let's get started with a moment of silence, as usual. Placing our left hand on top of right, keeping the back straight, the eyes closed, mouth closed, body still. Very well, Hari Om. Today's topic we can we can call it a matter of opinion. A matter of opinion will be today's topic. So it's important for us as yogis, as seekers, as human beings trying to do our best and trying to sincerely make progress on the spiritual path, to be sincere with ourselves, to not lie to others or to ourselves, not fool others or ourselves. Because the moment we start fooling ourselves, lying to ourselves, then basically we are stuck. Because we are on the path of knowledge, on the path of truth, and truth and untruth cannot be together at once, just like light and darkness in the same place at the same time. So the seeker, the disciple, the yogi, this is one of the first steps: to not lie. To not fool him or herself. And this topic can be very vast, but I want to narrow in, focus in into a particular point, which is the title of the lecture: a matter of opinion. It is important for us to be clear, to be honest with ourselves, if we don't really know something or the reason why something is happening or how something works. It's important for us to be honest with ourselves and with others. Because the moment we start making certain comments or statements on some things that we may not understand, and those comments or statements are simply a matter of opinion, but we pass them off as statements of truth, of statements of this is the reality, this is how it is. It is obvious that this works this way, or this is happening because of this, or him or her are doing this or that because of this or that, and we are not able to see and or discern the difference between, do I really know this for a fact, or is this just really a matter of opinion? It's a very subtle difference there, where if you do not clearly see that the comment, the observation that you may be making is only a matter of opinion and not a matter of fact, and you speak with a certain authority as and a certain conviction, as, oh yeah, this is how it is, yeah, this is they're doing this or that, or this works this way or that way, oh yeah, I'm sure him or her, they're doing this because of this or that, and that is not the truth, because now you are passing it off with a conviction of truth, with a conviction of authority, of certainty. Now that becomes a misleading statement, becomes a lie, many times unintentional. It is that fine tuning of the discernment in our perception and knowing, okay, I really don't know this, but it looks like this could be it. Nothing wrong in that statement. Because even if turns out that that's not it, what you thought it was, you, the way that you're speaking, the way that you are communicating, you're you're being honest in knowing and in letting everyone know, yeah, it looks to me like maybe this is what's happening, or I think that probably this is why, or that is why. Perfectly fine. Even if that's not why, it is not a lie. You were honest in your way of expressing things, and so it is just then a matter of opinion. No, no horrible harm is done there, because we are all entitled to an opinion, and an opinion doesn't have to be 100% accurate. It could just be your point of view on a particular issue or topic or whatever it is. But when that which is just an opinion, just our own individual perception from whatever level we happen to be at, and then we speak and we make that comment with that conviction, oh yeah, this is why this is happening. Or that is the reason why she's doing that, or this is why the guru said this or that, then now, if your perception is not accurate, is not correct, then now that becomes a lie. That is an easy way to fool others or fool ourselves into thinking, yeah, I know, I understand what is going on. So let's slowly make that distinction between just a matter of opinion and a straight, truly fact. So that we do not end up fooling ourselves and fooling others, sometimes unintentionally. Give you an example of a recent example in politics, which we are very familiar with. The whole thing with the United States politics. This is a very divisive issue. Usually we avoid politics, but just for the purpose of illustrating the point, the whole issue with Donald Trump. He was elected president, right? He's going for the second term. And now, let's say, for argument's sake, because I know there are people on both sides of this issue, but let's say for argument's sake that it was Trump's opinion that the election was being stolen. And now he speaks in a way that this is a fact. he starts to believe that this is the way it is. And as he speaks from a place of authority, now his followers who trust him, who love him, which is why they vote for him, who thinks he is the best thing, otherwise he wouldn't be there, right? Sometimes people are there not necessarily because they're the best thing. But again, let's not get into politics. But is his opinion that this election is being stolen? He expresses it as a fact. His followers now, right, trust that this is a fact. It came from a man of authority. He cannot be telling the lie. You saw the whole issue with the people storming the Capitol and trying to, all over an opinion that was stated as a fact. I'm looking at it from this angle. Now let's look at it from the other angle, assuming that he is right, which is could be. I'm trying to see the same topic of a matter of opinion from different sides. Now let's assume that what he's saying is a fact. But the other side, in this case, the side of the Democrats, they will see it as no, this is the election is fair. But maybe that is also just an opinion. But because they are coming from politicians and people in certain level of authority, and they pass it with such conviction that no, there's nothing's wrong here. What if there was something wrong? But do you see how talking in an authoritative way, in a way with such conviction about a topic that you may or may not be sure of, and it may just be your opinion, can lead to all kinds of issues. So let's get away from politics so that, because I know it's a divisive issue and I don't want the focus to go there to what is true, what is not true. The point is being honest with ourselves. I wasn't there to count the ballots or whatever. I don't know. I cannot be 100% certain either way. I wasn't there in the heart and the mind of this or that person to say, oh, the reason that he or she is doing that or saying this or acting in this is because of this. You see that mistake, we make it so often as yogis. And especially, it becomes even much, much worse when we now invoke or bring into the name, the image, the memory of an enlightened master, of a guru. And we said, oh, yeah, the reason he did this, and this is why the guru did that. And now we're taking our opinion and we stating it as a fact. When we are not there to count the ballots, we are not in the mind, in the soul, in the heart, in the consciousness from which he is speaking. And we are not perceiving what he needs perceiving and what he is doing at subtle levels, and why certain things need to be done or undone, said or not said, revealed or kept secret. We're not at that level of perception. And yet we are so sure that this just matter of opinion, we trust our own perception so much, coming back to the old topic of humility, that we believe that this is true. This is how it is. I am 100% sure that this is why the master said these words. Do you know? Can you really, with all certainty? No. It is like the example of the scriptures. I think Swami Gurudevanand and also Guruji used to give this example where the scriptures are there, people read them, but they very easily misinterpret them because they are only understanding from their level of perception. And the scripture is written by people at another level of perception. So there's a little yogic joke there where if you are not at a certain level, it is best that you do not read the scriptures. It's just going to confuse. And especially when you identify this opinion, this matter of opinion, you do not yet know how to discern between what is just my personal opinion, my personal view, my perception at this moment from this level. You do not have that discernment to know this is just my opinion, this is just my limited vision at the moment, versus this is what is meant, this is the truth, this is what was intended. If we do not have that level of discernment, it's better not to read the scriptures because then we are going to take our opinion to be the fact, the truth. And it is supported by the scriptures now, which is even more dangerous because now you can find the source. And now, with your opinion, with whatever little or much you could understand, you see, the scripture said that just like now you have an authority, quote unquote authority, to base what you think is true on, which is even worse. Because now it's not just you that said it. Look, the guru says it right here. the Veda says it right here. Huh. Which is one of the reasons why Sri Adi Shankara had to come with to clear the air and all of this confusion, all of these different levels of consciousness were misinterpreted the scriptures in such badly ways that incarnation had to come to, hey, no, this is how it is. So the joke is, if you're not at a certain level, it's better not to read the scriptures. But if you are at a certain level, then you don't need to read the scriptures. A little joking joke they like to put in there. And yet they write them. So let's try to apply the discernment there. I see this recent incident. Again, on the incidents, I may change details here and there because, again, the purpose is not to embarrass anyone or to point fingers at anyone or to ridicule anyone. The point is, if we see an incident that we can all learn from, then yeah, I'll mention the incident. I will mention names. I may change a little something here and there, so that the essence of the incident is captured and we can learn from it and hopefully avoid that mistake in the future. So it's for all of our growth and not to make fun of anyone. So the incident is something like this. A yogini is talking or giving some what him or her believed to be wisdom or knowledge or some lectures here or there, passing on some information. Another yogi sees it. Some yogis are commenting on the whole, what's going on, and then one of the yogis says something like, "Oh, it's being done that she's doing that or he's doing that because she thinks that she's gonna save people by doing these kind of things. He's gonna help people by doing. It's like he or she has a good intention. they're they're just trying to they believe that they can save people by doing that, by saying these things, by talking these things, right? Now this is the matter of opinion, but the way that it was said was like a fact, with a conviction, with a certainty. No, no, that's just, of course, don't worry about it. She's at that level. He believes, she believes that they're actually helping. So yeah, there's no harm. Just let them do whatever they do, right? But again, this is the mistake, where the matter of opinion now is passed on as a fact, and that may not necessarily be the case. Imagine in nature, different kinds of trees, different kinds of plants grow side by side. At different seasons, different things happens to different plants, different times of the year. And a season comes where this plant begins to flower, where this plant begins to give fruits. But remember, not all the plants are alike, even though they may be in the same garden or in the same park or in close proximity to each other. So when one plant begins to flower, begins to give fruits, it is not that the plant is flowering or giving fruit because this plant has a big ego. It's not that this plant is giving fruit or flowers because this plant believes that it's going to save the world by doing so. It is just in the nature of that plant to flower at that particular season. And imagine if the plant said, "No, I don't want to give my flowers, I don't want to bloom right now, give my fruits right now because, I don't see anybody else with flowers or fruits around. So, I don't want them to think I have a big ego." No, it's just the season came, the right atmosphere is set, the soil is fertile, and that plant gave flowers and fruits. It's just natural. But if we start putting a matter of opinion, well, look, all of these plants are just green, and this one here is giving fruits and think, why is this plant in the same garden, within the same soil, in a close proximity, doing this, and then all of these are just they're plain green? This plant is off the, is not following the rules, but it is following the rules of nature. Same thing as different seasons. When it gets cold, many plants lose their leaves and they fall in the fall. But some plants, like the pine tree, they stay evergreen no matter the season. So when all the other plants, their things are falling, imagine if the pine tree starts comparing him or herself as, how come everybody else is losing their greenness and the leaves, and I'm here all green, like, I don't want to stand out, I just want to be like everybody else. No. The pine tree is a pine tree, and it's going to remain evergreen throughout all the seasons. That's his nature. But if we start looking at it in a certain way and stating our opinion as a fact, we may say, oh, well, who does this pine tree thinks he is? Or she is, right? Everybody else is obviously doing something, and this pine tree is doing something else. He's not a team player. The pine tree should also lose all his greenness and his leaves and everything like everybody else. But no, a pine tree is going to be a pine tree. And even if it's cold and snowing, it remains green. It's the beauty of it. So, as you can see, different things happen for different reasons, but let's remember and let's practice the discernment there a little bit in the differentiating what is just a matter of opinion and what is truly and what we truly and honestly can say that we know to be a fact, to be truth. And it is important for us to get into this habit so that we do not unintentionally fool ourselves and fool others. Sometimes certain yogis are in this stage, right? And they are stating their matter of opinion as as fact. It's just like a habit. It's a mistake. They're just doing it, and that's the something that maybe hasn't been corrected, or and now they keep doing it. There may be other yogis there. They're stating that another yogi sees this is just an opinion. They're stating as fact. They may not contradict the person. They may not even correct the person. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right place. Maybe they don't want to the other person to feel offended or seem as if one person is contradicting another, and the whole battle of thing, egos may go into play, or they may not want to embarrass them publicly because they are working as a team. But if this habit continues and one day another yogi or person with of high spiritual development happens to be present, that may or may not be part of the group, let's say as a visitor somewhat, and this person with this habit continues stating this matter of opinion as a certain truth and fact, and speaking in this certain kind of way, this other yogi person or person of high spiritual will see right through it. And with just one little question, one little comment, one little, it will completely embarrass the other person, the other quote unquote leader or teacher or whoever happens to be there giving the lecture, and that is not good for our school. And imagine if there are other visitors there, and you as a person that is giving the lecture, and then you're stating with so much certainty these kind of things that you really are not certain about, that are really truly not your experience, that are just a matter of opinion, but you're passing them off as 100% truth, fact. If there's a person there that can see right through, forget it. It's over. One little question, one little comment, one little show of how the right perception of the thing is, and you won't have an answer, and you will be embarrassed publicly for this little mistake. This is what we're trying to avoid. Because we want us as a school, as a team, to be the best, to show our best, and to be able to attract and to be ready to attract and retain people of a certain level of spirituality that can come to our school and can sit as a visitor. And these people already have a certain level, and they hear, they listen, and they see, wow, this person is sincere. I see the depth of the practice. Maybe they can see, maybe they can feel the vibration, who knows? They say, oh, this is a place where I feel I can learn something. I can, and these people are, being honest and truthful, and then that person can enter, that person can join, and we as a group, as a society, as mantra yoga meditations are better as a team because we have high level players. But this high level player comes, imagine, not yet part of our team, just listening, somewhat of a high spiritual level. Maybe they can see, maybe they can hear, maybe they can perceive, whatever. And you're talking you are just taking your what you think is true and speaking in a certain way, one or two things can happen, neither of which are good. Either the person can be quote unquote nice and just keep quiet, eh, but they will lose respect for the speaker and for the teaching and for the place, because the speaker, whoever is speaking at the moment, is a reflection. Why is he speaking or she speaking if they are not the best that this school can offer? Right? If they are not qualified, why are they there talking to the public? Right? But if they're there, they must be, quote unquote qualified. And if they see that what you're saying, that what you're speaking, that what you're communicating as true, as fact, is not really true or fact, then either they will lose respect and just keep quiet and say, it's just another place that people are. They're not they're not what I'm looking for. They just walk away. If they're nice. But we lose the opportunity of having someone, of being ready to receive someone that is of a high spiritual caliber. Or the other thing that could happen is, if they are feeling whichever way, they may ask a question, an honest question, because they may say, okay, this is what this person is saying, but doesn't make any sense. They ask the question, and now you have no answer. And a little maybe debate can go on there, and now you are looking like a fool, because you're either going to have to swallow your words, retract, go back, admit they were wrong. Either way, it doesn't look good. So let's be clear and honest with ourselves and others when we speak a matter of opinion. And also, talking about of us as a team, as a center, if someone is giving a lecture, imagine, put yourself in the place of that person. That person is giving a lecture, they're doing their best, right? Or they should be doing their best. But you do not want to be the one giving the lecture and you feeling that all your fellow yogis are judging you. And any little mistake you make, So if you are just listening, a fellow yogi, this is somebody else, they're representing the yoga center speaking, then you should just be sending or vibrating only good thoughts, good things for that person, to help them. They need it. They should feel supported, not whoever's listening. They're only looking for any mistake that I make. And if the timing is right, or the kind of lecture is the whole thing where people discuss different things, then when it's your turn to speak, if you so desire to speak, let's say that you see minor mistake there. Let's just say something for visitors. You feel some minor mistakes that he or she has said, or maybe they weren't 100% accurate here or there. That is not the time to correct them. The public is there, the visitors are there. All should be aiming towards, you know, helping the people, encouraging the people towards initiation. Minor mistake may be there, but overall, the point is usually given. And these little mistakes, or maybe the person misspoke or said something incorrectly here or there, that is not the time to. Oh yeah, by the way, about what you said, yeah, I don't. Doesn't look good. If you are going to piggyback on a comment of someone, then you piggyback. Oh yeah, in addition to that, to to push the point forward in a better way, not to show or to quote unquote correct what you believe. That's not that's not the moment, because then you can get into that whole game where okay, this person found something or quote unquote correcting this, then I can also correct that, and then another person feel like, oh, I can correct what she said and what he said. The next thing you know is a mess. So there's a time and a place for these kind of things to happen. When someone is speaking, you can add to the point. You can, as long as you feel that it's helpful. But that is not the time to contradict, unless it's something completely off that you feel it can be harmful 100%, and still very carefully if it must be done. Usually, I haven't seen a situation where oh, it absolutely has to be something has to be. No, usually that's not the case, because you do not want. There are people listening, yogis at a certain level, they're listening, and they're holding back because they're not going to make you look bad in public. That's not the purpose, or to correct you in public. That's what these videos are for. One of the possible uses for them. So let's keep it at that. Remember, what is just a matter of opinion is just a matter of opinion. Don't say it with so much certainty. Don't give it so much confidence that that is what it is, so that you are not embarrassed later. This is what we're trying to avoid, and so that we attract people when they see that we are speaking from our own experience and not making up ideas or not saying things that are not the way they are. Doesn't look good to us as a school. All right, so let's keep it at that. Let's finish with a moment of silence with our back straight, eyes closed, mouth closed, body still. Very well. Hari Om, yogis.